Welcome back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, William Liberty, and with me is...
Fuaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got lots of stuff to talk about. We got Warner Brothers paying several YouTubers to promote the game Shadows of Mordor. We got Anna, official new hero for Overwatch details. We've got Overwatch trying new mode in competitive. We've got a full, just tons of patch details on the way, buffs and stuff. And then we've got Pokemon Go, the next big phenomenon. So let's talk about what we played this week. So I had a really crazy week.
Oh, boy.
So I went to Montreal Comic Con.
Ooh, how'd I go?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I had an absolute blast. And the cool thing was I had a really surprising moment when I got there. So, I grabbed the little, brochure thing that you get when you're waiting in the line to see, what events are there and whatnot, if there's any kind of cool panels or something like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this, but there were several developers there showing off games.
Oh.
And it was some pretty big stuff. There was a Deus Ex Mankind Divided booth.
Oh, shit, you got to play it?
Yes, I got to play it. There was a whole PlayStation booth that had a ton of games. I also got to play Gravity Rush 2. I got to see some more gameplay of For Honor at a panel. And what else did I do? Oh, and I actually got to try out PlayStation Morpheus. So I got to finally try out the VR.
Wait, Morpheus. That's the VR, right?
That's the VR. So I got to try that out finally.
Oh, how was it?
I'll get into that, but let's talk about. I'll explain like every experience. So I played the Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Plays well. I like how immediately it's like, all right, here's the new controls, or do you want the controls from Deus Ex Human Revolution? I'm like, okay, that's actually I really like that, where I can just reset the controls to exactly what I'm used to, right?
Yeah.
So I was excited about that. You get this beginning level. It's very similar to the beginning of Human Revolution, in which it's like, all right, do you wanna go lethal or non-lethal? Do you want range or do you want close quarters kind of stuff? So that's pretty cool. I really like that. It was funny though, because everyone else for the most part was just going in guns blazing.
Yeah.
But I was trying to be stealthy and take the stealthy routes and see if about any hidden nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
So I think at the moment the best ability in that game that makes stealth a lot easier is the True Vision, which is basically it allows you to see through walls and it allows you to see enemies that are in rooms. So you don't get that awkward moment where it's like, I walk into a room and oh goody, there's a guy there. You know what I mean? So It makes stealthing a little bit easier, but a little more satisfying because you could probably ghost through levels a lot easier.
Okay.
So I did play that for a bit, and that was actually a lot of fun. And then I got to play Gravity Rush 2, which was really, really good.
Okay.
I really like the gravity mechanic, and the combat is so much better.
That was what I was just about to ask.
Combat is a lot better. It's more.
Have you played the original?
I've played a demo for the original, and it was it was pretty good. I like the concept, but the combat was kind of meh. Okay. But the combat in this is a lot more improved. I love the ability in which you do you can lock onto enemies and sort of kick them and then bounce back up and kick them again.
Okay.
And there's different stances, right, that you can do.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the game played really, really well. It was a lot of fun. It looked pretty good. I like the art style especially. I found it kind of weird though. I never noticed this, but the main character speaks French. So
really,
yeah, in all the dialogue, you can tell that she's speaking French or some sort of variation of French influence or something like that. But it was interesting. Well, that was the other thing that was kind of funny because I was obviously in Montreal, so I
Mm.
had to get used to people like speaking in French first and then saying something in English.
Yeah, maybe that was the reason why she spoke French because the demo was from Montreal.
Maybe. Um, and then I made my way to PlayStation VR. That was kind of interesting. I think the thing that made it kind of sucky was the fact that, I was pretty happy where it's like Deus Ex Human Revolution. There was a booth, but it wasn't too busy. So you could kind of sneak your way in and, play for a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Same with the little Gravity Rush 2 booth. That
yeah,
was not too busy, so I was like, okay, this is really great. I can just sneak in and play.
yeah.
VR, however, had a really big line, and I was kind of like,
Mm.
you know what? I'm probably never gonna be able to play VR ever. So I better do it. I'm gonna make the tough call, and I'm gonna sit in the line for the podcast for the viewers.
You hear
To
that, viewers? He did this for you.
I did this for you, and I sat in that line for about an hour and a half.
Oh my God.
Uh, Yeah, that was rough. I literally pulled out my phone and started listening to a podcast. And then I had a really weird moment in which I was listening to the Two Best Friend podcast, and then I looked ahead in the line and I saw one of the two best friends there.
That's weird.
that
Did
would
you
that
talk
would.
to one of them?
I didn't get to talk to him because he was too far. He was too far ahead in the
Mm.
line, and by the time I got into VR, he had disappeared into the wind. But it
Yeah,
was
you see,
kind
this
of
is where me and Tana differ. First of all, I'd have never gotten into that line to begin with. I'd have been
yeah.
like, you know what, podcast, I love you guys, but screw this shit. And second, once I saw that two best friends guy, I'd have left the line straight up, man. But please continue.
Like just wait for him to talk about it on his like
Yeah,
podcast and
yeah,
be like,
yeah.
oh
I just
yeah,
reference
I
him. I
totally
just
was there.
reference him on our podcast,
Yeah,
and then leave a little link in the description if you
yeah,
really
yeah.
want to know.
If you really want to know. So I did get a hands on. I was a little bit bummed out because there were several different games that they were showcasing. There was a sort of Until Dawn.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a VR version of that, like a smaller version that had to deal in the same universe. So
Mm,
that looked kind of cool. There was a robot sports game that looked really, really awesome.
ten
Where it's
thousand foot robot golf.
I don't know if that's what it was called, but it was
Oh,
basically it looked like something similar to Rocket League,
oh, okay,
but with robots.
okay. Yeah,
And
it probably. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
it was actually I think it was made by Gorilla, weirdly
Oh,
enough.
rigs.
Yeah, probably that. So I saw that. I also saw a Battle Tanks game, which also looked really, really cool. And then I was like, okay, out of all of them, I really don't want to play this blocky one where you're just sort of running and it feels like
Mm,
a rail shooter. So
yeah.
I was like, I really didn't want to play that one. And then of course I get into the line. It's like, well, that's the only one available. We got to keep the line
Uh,
moving. All right, here you go. I'm like, okay. So I did play it, and it was basically a rail shooter. What was kind of interesting, though, I will say, is that it was kind of cool to play a rail shooter in which you'd have to look behind you. Because there was one point in the demo
oh.
in which I was fighting a boss, and the boss actually flies behind me, so I have to like literally turn my head around um, to actually shoot the reticles and whatnot. So that was actually kind of cool. But I literally only got to play one. But I mean, the Morpheus was pretty. It was comfy. It seemed like it worked really well. But like I said, like it's still like if all the games are gonna be like this one, then I'm not really that impressed. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because if it's just because it feels, you know what it felt like? It felt like you go to Canada's Wonderland, you wait an hour in a line, and you play a game for like you ride the ride for like 4 minutes,
Mm.
and it was kind of like that. It
Anticlimactic.
was a little bit anticlimactic, but it was interesting to try. Like it seemed functional at the very least. I think the problem was that I was just so salty that the line was so long, and I was like,
Mm.
for fuck's sake, why is this line so freaking long? I could be playing Gravity Rush 2. But yeah, I still had a lot of fun. I got to watch For Honor gameplay, an
Okay.
extended gameplay. I was a little
Vikings?
bit disappointed because it
Oh.
was sorry.
No, I was gonna ask, was it Viking Samurais or?
That was actually kind of funny because we got into the panel and they're like, all right, who do you want to see? And it's like, you get to shout, all right, those who want knights, shout knights, or those who shout samurai. And I'm just like, samurai! And then finally they get to Vikings, but Vikings went out. So I was like, God damn it. All right, fine. So it was basically the same demo from the E3, the E3 presentation, but a little bit extended. So we got to see more. It was also kind of funny because one of the guys fucked up one of the parts in the demo, which I thought was entertaining. There's a part in the E3 demo where he's supposed to push like this really big samurai off like a railing, and he falls to his death. Well, when he did that, he pushed him off, but he just slightly landed just at the edge. And then he got up, and the best part is that he sort of walked off and fell off anyway. And I very audibly went, yeah. Because that's kind of like, it's funny because I always like, okay, that's what the game's gonna really look like. You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be moments where it's like, this is a video game.
Yeah, that's one thing about the game that kind of worries me is that a lot of the demos we've seen are very, very cinematic, but like the issue with cinematic games is that when you then release them into the open and you let gamers get their hands on them,
it looks a lot different.
You have people playing the game that don't know how the game is supposed to play out. Things might get a little ugly, so we'll see. But please continue.
But yeah, no, it was fun. I didn't really stay for the Q&A because there's just too much stuff to do. I also had fun because I was walking around and I kind of went, oh man, I really want to get like a little figure or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, but I don't know who I could get like, Solid Snake or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I'm walking around and I finally see the perfect figure. And it's freaking Yojimbo from Final Fantasy X. And I'm like, yes. You are coming home with me.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
That is absolutely perfect.
So, yeah, Montreal Comic-Con was a lot of fun. There was tons of stuff to do. It got really busy, though. Holy crap, did it get busy. And then other than that, I came home. And, but I guess one other thing, I was walking around, and I guess I'll go into that first. And I've been looking for this 3DS game called Shin Megami Tensei 4 for the 3DS, right?
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of really, really good things about it, but it's out of print, right?
Okay.
So it's like, good luck finding it. I go to EB Games, and I'm like, do you have this, like, sort of weird anime game? And they just sort of, like, laugh, and then they say no. So I'm like, God damn it. So I was at the Montreal Comic Con and they actually had a copy of it. So I was like, sweet. So I picked that up, played a couple hours of it. It's basically like, it's basically what Persona was based on. Because, Persona is Shin Megami Tensei Persona, right?
Yeah.
But the really cool thing about this, how in Persona you've got all those like gods like Odin and Ra and all those like people that you use to fight off shadows and whatnot.
Yeah.
So Shin Megami Tensei is very interesting in the sense where the game's world is you convert those demons and gods and deities and whatnot to your side, but all of them exist and all of them talk and whatnot.
Yeah.
And all of them have goals. So it's really, really interesting. Like, it's weird because there's like a weird Undertale vibe in the sense where it's like you don't actually have to full-on fight in the battles, where you can just converse with a deity and try and convince them to either join your side or leave the fight and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which I find really, really cool. The other thing is that this game has a really great game over sequence in which when you die, you end up in the land of the dead and you're at the River Styx and you get to meet Charon. And Charon's like, look, man, you don't want to die. You look like a guy who really doesn't want to actually die and, stay in the afterlife forever. Tell you what, I can bring you back for a small fee, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I only got $50, and he wants $300, and he's like, ugh, I'll put it on your tab. So he brings me back to where I died, and I notice in my wallet I have a negative number.
Yeah.
And then I get to the point where I find an item and I sell it for a lot of money, and I'm like, oh sweet, I got a ton of money now. And then Karan, you hear the voice of Karan in your head, and he goes, oh sweet, you've got enough money to pay me now. And then all of a sudden I lose like half of my money. I'm like, ah. But that's a really, really cool game. And then the last thing I did, I did this after I came from Montreal Comic Con, is I played Inside. Which was the game made by the people who did Limbo.
Yeah.
And that game is really good. It is really, really good. It is really, really atmospheric. The last 10 minutes of the game are, holy shit, are they crazy. Like, it is, I was really, I did not see the sort of, twist coming when I got to that part of the game, so it was really satisfying.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun. The only problem is that, and I had this same problem with Limbo, is that it's such a great game experience, but it always feels too short. It feels like it's over before it really begins, which is always a bummer. But other than that, that's what I played this week. What about you, Fawaz?
Well, I guess to balance it out, I didn't really play anything this week. So yeah, that kind of evens things out right there. I actually thought about doing something a little different because I literally I went back home to Hamilton. I went back home to visit my family in Hamilton, and I took Overwatch and The Witcher 3 with me. And my little brother, he was really enjoying The Witcher 3. So, and I was like, you know what, I've already beaten it. So I left it with him. But then the problem is that now I got back to Ottawa, and I'm like, well, shit.
Now you don't have anything to play.
Yeah, so I was actually looking for suggestions from you and from the viewers. There's 3 games I'm considering picking up now. Odin Sphere, I'm not going to try to pronounce the subtitle.
Yeah.
Valkyria Chronicles and Divinity Original Sin. I'm torn between those 3 games. Like Odin Sphere is the most expensive. Valkyria Chronicles, Jay Street, he was playing the game and he said he really liked it. But one thing he mentioned that kind of had me a little apprehensive was that there's a lot of cutscenes. And you know me on cutscenes. We don't get along. So that's. That kind of had.
I mean, when it's a single player, it's not like a platinum game where it's
This is true. This is not platinum games bullshit type cutscenes. But at the same time, you know what? Yeah, you're probably right. I'm just because there's very few Japanese games I've played where I didn't just want to skip all the cutscenes.
Well, I would say it's similar. Okay, did you want to skip the cutscenes in Persona?
No, I didn't.
Then you'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine. Yeah.
And then the Video Original Sin is it's like a middle ground because it's good. It's got a lot of stuff that I like in a game, but then apparently there's a huge barrier of entry, and I'm not sure if I want to spend a month doing what I did with Dark Souls, what I did with Bloodborne, trying to break through that barrier. So those are the 3 games I'm currently juggling. Valkyria Chronicles is in the lead because it's the cheapest, and I've always wanted to play Valkyria Chronicles. When it came out for the PS3 and I owned an Xbox, I was really sad. Then I got a PS3, but I was like, okay, it doesn't really have it doesn't really have trophy support, and I know that's a terrible reason not to buy Valkyria Chronicles, but hey, I am who I am, okay.
That's
and now it's out on the console. It has trophy support. It has, and it's really cheap. Mm-hmm. So you know what? I'm probably gonna get Valkyria Chronicles. Yeah.
Because I would say because I've played Valkyria Chronicles. It is a really, really good game, and it's a lot of fun. And I always say, I was gonna say if there's any other games, I would highly still recommend Dark Souls 3.
Really?
Because it's still it's probably one of the best games that's come out this year, in my opinion.
Okay.
But then again, what I could do is that if I can ever, because the thing is that for the podcast viewer, we and Fawaz, we live very far away from each other.
Like an hour and a half.
Yeah, and it's if we ever could meet up, I could just lend you my copy of Dark Souls 3 if you want to just try it out.
Okay. Yeah, because with Bloodborne.
Yeah, exactly. Because Because like Dark Souls 3, like I've pretty much completed it, and I don't really see myself going back to play it at least for a while.
Okay.
Like I would let you try it out, and if you picked up your own copy, the cool thing is that we could co-op.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
that would be. I think you would enjoy that experience because the Dark Souls co-op experience is a lot of fun.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
We could try it out, and then I could try it out until I'm sure.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly,
because with
exactly.
Bloodborne, I tried out until I beat it, right? But
Yeah,
yeah, I could
yeah,
try it
yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
until I'm sure, and then once I get to that point where I'm like, okay, cool, I really want to beat this game, then I'll give you back your copy and I'll go buy my own. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Well, there you go.
There we go. See, Tanner comes in, save the day. All right. So you want to get into some news?
Yeah, let's get into some news.
All
We got a lot
right.
of news to cover. So the first bit of news, it's a weird one. So IGN posted an article talking about how Warner Brothers was hit with a ruling for buying positive YouTube coverage. Um, Apparently they didn't the FTC, I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, they because Warner Brothers paid a couple paid some YouTubers to play the games, but you know, kind of downplay the bugs and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand why this is bad. But anyway, Warner Brothers is now barred from not adequately disclosing such information in the future. You know,
Mm-hmm.
not adequately disclosing the fact that they paid for this stuff.
Yeah.
The FTC complaint says that although disclosures were in the description boxes of videos, they were only visited if users click the show more button. So the issue here that a lot of people, the issue here, the issue that the FTC is having here is
Mm-hmm.
that it wasn't made obvious. You know, like, you know, you watch a commercial and
You know
you
it's a
watch it,
commercial, yeah.
yeah, you watch a McDonald's commercial and you see that person enjoying that burger and you're like, this is bullshit. This is obviously a commercial. No one is that happy when they're eating at McDonald's,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So whereas with this one, it wasn't as obvious. It was in the description. A lot of people missed it. I mean, like, let's be honest. Who actually reads the descriptions of videos?
Yeah.
Like, unless people actually direct you to
I will only occasionally read the descriptions of videos of certain YouTubers in which their descriptions are better than the videos themselves.
That's actually there's this one basketball YouTuber I watch who always has like weird stuff in his
Yeah, yeah,
description.
exactly.
So yeah, like but outside of exceptions like that, like most people don't read the descriptions. And then on top of that, the stuff wasn't even like in the description. You had to hit the show more button in description. And I mean this
Mm-hmm.
sounds, you know, petty and stuff like that, but let's be real with ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, no one reads descriptions, and then of the people that do read descriptions, very few of them then hit the show more button to read more because no one
Yeah,
cares. There's never anything important down there,
yeah.
you know. So usually a YouTuber will point out that you know like this video is sponsored by Warner Brothers,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
you know it's because at the end of the day, whether or not these are reviews, this doesn't actually this doesn't whether or not these are
Yeah.
reviews,
Well,
this does
this is
affect.
yeah, this is the key thing is that for the most part these were promotions from like YouTubers who don't do reviews.
Yeah.
And of our source or areas that don't do reviews. These were promotions like simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is that if it was like, all right, IGN or something like that, or like a review site is post like a positive like, oh, here's our review of like the demo or something like that, and it's like really obvious that would be something completely different. But this is just like a flat out promotion. And
Yeah.
I guess the thing that is pissing a lot of people off is that a lot of the videos and whatnot they don't state right away or even at all in the video itself that this is a promotion, and I think that's a contributing factor to why people were getting really pissed off at this.
Yeah, yeah, and plus, a lot of people want like PewDiePie is the dude who has probably gotten the most flame for this
Mm-hmm.
because I mean he's what the most popular channel on YouTube,
Yeah, he's one of the most popular.
so there's that. But a lot of people did not want to like PewDiePie. Personally, I don't like PewDiePie. I watched a couple of his guides for Shadow of the Colossus, and he's always yelling. Like, I'm sorry, like, dude, you don't need to yell that much, right?
Yeah.
But like that's besides the point. So a lot of people didn't want to like him to begin with. So when they saw this, they were like, yes,
Yeah.
you know.
There's
Now
this-
I've got a reason to hate that son of a bitch because when you actually look into this properly, PewDiePie didn't do anything wrong. Like he made a video in response to this, and he was like, like in the video, he shows that he did in fact put, paid for by Warner Brothers, and like he said himself, I'm not sure if he was being sarcastic here, but he was like, maybe he could have made it more visible, right? Or like for me, I'm just like reference. They should have because here's the other thing, right? Is that sometimes you don't even watch YouTube. You don't even watch YouTube videos on YouTube. Like it's embedded in a thread on GameTrailers.com. Rest in peace. So you just click on the embed, you full screen it, and that's it. You're watching the video there. So there should have probably been like an annotation, or just have the people say it in the video. Like I think that's where people are getting into trouble here. But overall, I think this is much ado about nothing, really. I thought it was a bigger. I'll be honest with you. I thought this was a bigger deal when I added it to the list of stuff we're going to talk about. And then my good friend Tanner, he was like, you know what, Fawaz, you're a bit of an idiot. This actually isn't as scandalous as you think. Then I did a little more research, and I was like, wow. Shout outs to Tanner. I'd end up looking like Fox News.
But that's it's all jokes aside. But that's a good point. Is that people are gonna see something like this or this? They got paid to do this. Oh, scumbags, right? Like immediately just take the fuck them, right? And they're gonna just take that route right away without not fully understanding the story, and that's the thing that kind of sucks. I also think that kind of sucks in general is that. People are getting mad about people promoting, and the game in question is Shadows of Mordor, and Shadows of Mordor is actually a pretty decent game, overall. Like, it's a pretty decent game. It's not like people were promoting, Alien Colonial Marines or, like, freaking, Duke Nukem Forever or something like that. Like, this was, like, a pretty solid game that they were promoting. So, I don't know. I feel less salty about it because of that.
Yeah, no, this is true. That's completely true. And if this had been like Alias Colonial Marines, then I think that would have made people feel a lot, because at the end of the day, Shadow of Mordor is a very good game. I mean, it's Assassin's Creed Light, but it's still a good game at its core, right? So I think people are a lot less. That makes people a lot less salty about the whole situation. But much ado about nothing. In summary.
Yeah, basically.
In my opinion. Now for the big news of the week.
Oh boy.
Oh sweet baby. So there's a bunch of Overwatch news, and I'm going to apologize because I might start rambling, and you're gonna have to like reel me in a little bit.
We've got a shit ton to talk about.
So first things first, Ana Amari is officially revealed. The support sniper that was teased last week turns out to be Ana. So first of all, I want to apologize to everybody. I did a little bit of a lore smash last week, and it turns out I was talking out of my ass. Ana and Sombra are not the same person. To be fair, I was not the only person that thought this. This was the prevailing theory, because most people did not think that Blizzard would be teasing two characters at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a completely different character. She's Farah's mother.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's get into the lore real quick. And this is actually from Blizzard, so
yeah, they actually posted a little like origin story video, which was really really cool.
Yeah. So Ana, so she was a member of Overwatch, but during a mission she hesitated. During a mission where she was supposed to kill the target, she hesitated, and the target, who turns out to be Widowmaker, shot her right through the eye. Real quick before I get into the rest of the lore. I don't understand how someone can shoot you through the eye with a high caliber sniper rifle and you somehow survive it.
Hey, listen. If Snake can take a shot to the face and just put an eye patch on it, then
Because I was just looking at the situation. I was trying to figure out the angle that she got shot at from, where she didn't just lose her brains in the process.
Yeah.
But whatever. So she fakes. After she gets shot through the eye, she decides to take some time off, and she fakes her own death. Not really hard to do when you've been shot through the eye with a high caliber sniper rifle.
This is a very popular thing in the Overwatch universe. Man, I need a vacation. Let's just fake my death, and then Soldier's like, yeah, that shit's great.
What's really funny is that there's an interaction between her and Soldier 76 where he's like, that Ana, why didn't you tell me you were alive? And she's like, no, I am not getting this shit from you right now. you of all people, no.
Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it's a really short lore. I mean, she goes into stuff about her relationship with Farah, and one really cool thing about this is that like I said, when you look at the interactions between Farah and 76 and a couple other characters, it's implied that her and Farah don't have a very good relationship. However, it looks like Farah was just being a bratty little kid, and the relationship's actually pretty chill. You know, Anna was just being an overprotective mother, which is what mothers do. So anyway, that's enough of that. Now, in terms of the actual character herself, she's a support sniper, as has been speculated for God knows how long. Her sniper rifle, it doesn't have two modes. This was what I was wondering, whether it had two modes. It's if she shoots into a teammate, she heals them. If she shoots into an enemy, she damages them, right? Yeah. Then her abilities, this is where things get interesting. Yeah. So she's got a grenade, right? She throws the grenade down and it heals her and people in it heals in an area of effect for about 100 HP, but then it also amplifies healing. It amplifies the healing that the people who get hit by that get for it like doubles the healing that they get, right?
So based like an example is that she throws her grenade at like, you know, her teammate, like a soldier, right? And then a Mercy comes by and does her healing thing, and it heals up even faster than usual.
Yeah. So that is going to be crazy with Lucio specifically because of Lucio's AoE heal. But that's not even the crazy part. If she hits an enemy with the grenade, it does some damage, like 60 damage. However, it nullifies healing. Yeah. So for 5 seconds, whoever she hit with that grenade cannot be healed anymore. Like, this is so crazy. This is one of the things that makes me excited about new characters is when they add like brand new like interactions to the game. You know, this is going to switch up. This is crazy. Let me just leave it at that. So then her other ability is a sleep dart. She hits it's CC, so it's similar to McCree's flashbang. Any character that she hits falls asleep for 5 seconds, which is a very, very long time. And they might actually have to tone that down. But here's the trade-off, though, is that whoever you stun, for any damage that they get hit by wakes them up. Yeah. So even if it's like 1 point of damage, it wakes them right back up. So just for all you people who plan on playing Anna, just know ahead of time that the sleep dart rage is coming. You are going to hit an Alton Genji with a sleep dart, and your teammate is going to walk up and hit them with like a little bit of damage, wake them back up, and they're going to get up and murder you. So just get ready for that because it's coming. Yeah. And then finally, her ultimate is insane. So she fires a teammate with a nano and with something, and it boosts them. It gives them 50. Okay, now these numbers are not, because people have been testing and they're trying to figure out the numbers exactly. And if I'm guessing, these numbers are probably going to get switched before launch. But as of right now, it's 50% damage boost, 50% damage reduction, and like a 30% movement boost. It is insane.
Yeah.
It is absolutely insane. If you have not seen a Dragon Blading Genji nano boosted coming at your team, like, it is one of the most horrifying
things.
That
would be, especially.
Yeah, one dude actually said that not even that, man. Something as simple as damage boosting a Winston, because the issue is not the damage boost. The issue is the damage reduction, because it makes certain characters extraordinarily hard to kill. So you can just have a Winston running into the team, doing 50% extra damage, and then say he has like a Mercy behind him, damage boosting him. You're looking at like, what, 80% extra damage?
Yeah.
So this is probably going to get tweaked before launch. But overall, she looks really, really cool.
Yeah, really.
The interesting thing about her is that she's probably the highest skill ceiling support in the game right now, because it used to be Zenyatta, but I honestly think, because with her, like Zenyatta, he could fire and forget his healing, right? With her, you have to actually hit your healing.
You actually have to hit your targets. And we talked about this last time. It's like, oh, great, I have Genji and Tracer on my team. This is going to go fantastic, you know. Like,
yeah, one thing that they did though is that apparently the teammate hitboxes are huge. When she's trying to heal them,
that's nice.
Yeah, they made the hitboxes on teammates pretty forgiving. So it's not as hard as hitting an enemy with Widowmaker.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not as hard as hitting an enemy with Anna. Actually, the enemy hitboxes aren't as big, but they made the teammate hitboxes a lot bigger. So this is pretty interesting, and she's going to shake up. I think she's going to shake up the meta a good bit, because a lot of her abilities are just like crazy, like nullifying healing, like that. That's insane. The other thing is that Sombra, because there have been a lot of teases for a character called Sombra on a lot of stages, and people looked into the video of announcing Anna, and there was a spot in the video with some hex code. So the internet being the internet, they translated the hex code, and I can't remember exactly what it translated to, but it was something along the lines of "Who is Sombra" in Spanish or something like that. Because Blizzard announced last week in between our last two podcasts that they're gonna have a panel at San Diego Comic-Con talking about the development, the steps behind Overwatch's newest character. Right at the time, Anna hadn't been announced, but people were assuming that it was going to be Sombra because everyone thought Anna and Sombra were
the same thing.
Yeah. So now we don't know. It might just be more stuff about Anna, going into details on the steps that took to developing her, or it could be a brand new character, this Sombra that has been getting teased for so goddamn long. So we'll see about that. How do you feel about Anna?
I think Anna's great. I think her kit seems great as well. Honestly, she seems more like, for me, she seems like the idea. She's got a lot of heals, and she also has a lot of debuffs. Yeah. So she has a lot of similarity to Zenyatta. So in a lot of ways, she feels like a much better version of Zenyatta to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And I feel like the one thing that is kind of interesting though is that because every sniper in the game has good escape potential. Yeah. So when you got Hanzo, he has his mobility, so he can just climb walls and escape that way, right? And he's also got the sort of I'm trying to think what you call it, like map awareness thing, where he shoots his arrow and you can see when he's hit. So he can kind of maneuver around enemies really good. Widowmaker has the grappling hook, so if she's getting shot at, she can just escape that way, right? The interesting thing about Anna is that her only real escape method is her sleep dart. Yeah. So I think that's going to be kind of interesting, because I feel like she's going to be more of a sniper that is closer, well, either farther away from combat or somewhat closer. I don't know. It would be interesting to see how people play her, because she doesn't have the mobility or the escapes that some of the other snipers do.
Yeah, because the thing is that like people and this is probably going to be a problem, is that people shouldn't look at her as a sniper at all. Her sniper she has no headshot. She can't headshot people. She doesn't have any headshot multiplier or anything like that, right? So and then like you said, she has no mobility. She's the only quote unquote sniper in the game that can't get to a high point and get those vantage points, because she's not a sniper. She's primarily a support who has a sniper rifle. And I think that you should look at her, you should compare her more to Lucio and Mercy and Zenyatta than Widowmaker and Hanzo. And then when you compare it to like Zenyatta, for example, she's got 200 HP, so she already has more HP than Zenyatta for now. We'll get to that a little bit later. But then, like you said, she has the escape. She's the only support in the game that can just straight up, a Genji comes and flanks her. She just hits him with the sleep dart, and she's gone. Or at least she on a coordinated team. And this is going to be a very important thing with Sombra. I think. Oh my God, Anna. You see, I've told myself she's Sombra for months. So
yeah, we all have. So it is a little bit jarring to be like Anna.
Yeah. This is going to be the interesting with Anna, is that she shit. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh my God. There we go. Coordination. Yeah. Of all the supports in the game, she's the one that's going to require coordination the absolute most, because like her ultimate, for example, you need to know, you need to coordinate with your teammates and be like, okay, you've got Dragon Blade, okay, cool, bam, I hit you with the nano, go in there and do your stuff, Right. Or with the sleep dart is probably the most important one, because you need to coordinate with your team to make sure that if you are putting a target to sleep with the intention of having them incapacitated, right, the intention is not to kill them, it's to incapacitate them. You need to coordinate with your team and make sure nobody shoots that target. Because for someone like a Mercy, for example, you knock her out and you kill her, right? 200 HP. Yeah. But if it's a Roadhog or a Reinhardt, if a Reinhardt drops his shield, you hit it with a sleeping dart, and you're like, okay, guys, kill the other team before the Reinhardt. I mean, in 5 seconds, a team can be very, very dead, right? Yeah. Kill the other team, but nobody shoot the Reinhardt, for the love of God. Yeah. So I think she's going to need a lot of coordination. And then to go along with that point, when you coordinate with like your team, you're like, oh shit, I'm being flanked by a Genji. Bam, I hit him with a sleep dart, guys. Take care of the Genji. Because if no one takes care of the Genji can wake back up and come back and find you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
So
she's not very fast. You know, she can't wall run. She doesn't have a grappling hook. She doesn't have a teleport. She doesn't have anything, right?
yeah.
So yeah, but she's a very interesting character, and I'm looking forward to having to seeing how she and then the changes we're about to get to affect the game.
patch.
So then to get to those changes real quick, the big ones for me are Zenyatta and D.Va got buffed. So here's a general one that they actually some general. Let's get to the general ones.
Yeah, let's do the general ones first, and then we'll get into
they made it such that any character with an ability that heals themselves, that ability builds ultimates now.
Yeah. So like think like Mei's like little ice cocoon or like Bastion's little heal thing.
Yeah. So now to balance that out, they nerfed the rate at which those characters build ultimates. So
they increased it by 10%, basically.
Yeah, Bastion got a 10% nerf. What's it called? Roadhog got a 45% nerf to his thingy. Soldier 76 got a 10% nerf. One interesting person that didn't get nerfed was Reaper, and Reaper. So Reaper builds ult when he consumes. He heals himself when he consumes souls, but I guess they didn't think that it was enough to warrant nerfing his ultimate, which is fine. I think Reaper is. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
The other thing was that they added a 1 hero limit to competitive play. This has been a very, very, very big talking point in competitive play for a very long time. People have complained that, hero stacking leads to imbalances, which is true. So Blizzard eventually just gave up with trying to balance around hero stacking, and they, at the very least for this season, they decided to just implement a 1 hero limit. Now, Jeff Kaplan did state that they are still trying to make hero stacking work, and they're testing it out, and they might bring it back for later seasons. But right now, there's a 1 hero limit. So in a competitive game, you can force that Hanzo or that Genji on your team to pick a different character by picking Hanzo or Genji first. And now you don't have to worry about having multiple Hanzos and Genjis on your team in a competitive game. Now to the juicy part of the balance updates. First things first, Zenyatta's health. Zenyatta got buffed from 150 to 200. I have been begging for this since before the game even launched. Because, it just made no sense to me. You look at Mercy and you look at Lucio. Mercy and Lucio have more health.
Yeah.
They can regenerate their health, and they have mobility. It just made no sense for him to have less health than him.
Zenyatta had 150 health, and the only other hero that had 150 health was Tracer, and the difference is Tracer can blast her way across the battlefield and recall and blink and
Tracer
whatnot.
is probably the hardest character to hit in the entire game. Zenyatta is probably the easiest character to hit in the entire game. They should not have had the same amount of health. Now, they also had a couple of other changes. His Transcendence his movement speed is doubled when he activates his Transcendence. So this fixes an issue where you would pop Transcendence and then your idiot teammates would run away from you for some odd reason. So now you can chase them down and be like, get this healing, you dumbasses.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they increase the amount of healing from 200 to 300 health per second. Finally, they increased the speed of his orbs of Harmony and his orbs of Discord from 30 to 120.
The range is also increased too.
I didn't see anything about the range, but I'll take your word. I'll take your word on that. But because the issue was that sometimes you would send out an orb of Discord, right? And you would hit a bunch of your projectiles before the orb of Discord actually connected with the enemy. Right? So this is just a quality of life buff. The big buff here is the 50 health. Is the 50 health. So now he has 50 health and 150 shields. So Jeff Kaplan has said that they are monitoring him because they have a PTR right now where people are just testing out the path. They said that they are monitoring him to see if it is too strong, and they might tone it down to 175 because 150 shields is a lot. I love Zenyatta, but I will admit 150 shields is a lot for a character that does as much damage as he does. So maybe they'll tweak it to 175. Maybe that'll be the sweet spot. We'll see. Whatever. I'm just glad Zenyatta's getting buffed. He's my favorite support in the game. He's a lot of fun. He's a backline. He's the kind of guy that you sit in the back lines and you yell out commands to teammates. And you know me, I love telling people what to do. So yeah, man, I love me some Zenyatta. I'm so glad he's getting buffed. The other person that's getting buffed, and I guess this will make you happy, is D.Va. So they completely reworked her defense matrix. They changed it from an ability to her alternate fire. How it works now is the cooldown has been reduced from 10 seconds to 1 second. However, now it's now you can toggle it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
the best way to describe it is it kind of works like Reinhardt's shield in a way.
Thank you. I was struggling to find a way to describe it. But yeah, it works like Reinhardt's shield, and it works like a better version of Reinhardt's shield because it completely absorbs completely absorbs everything. Yeah. So, well, not everything. But yeah, this is a huge change, and this fixes one of D.Va's biggest issues, being that she just did not have survivability. I genuinely found it easier to kill D.Va than it was to kill Lucio, which should just not be the case with a tank with 500 HP.
The other things that they did that I think were great is that, one, her ultimate cost has been decreased by 15%, so expect more nukes. The other thing is that the explosion is now 3 seconds instead of 4, so that it makes it a little less easy for people to run away from it. And the other one that I really appreciate is that your explosion will no longer kill you.
That is it.
I think that's a really, really big deal. Because the fact was that when you launched your nuke, you would always have to be like, run, 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 run. And now it's like you can throw your nuke up and you could probably start shooting with your pistol right away.
Yeah. Or this makes D.Va really good for capturing points now, because you can drop the nuke on a point and then you can just go on the point and start capping it. Whereas before you drop it on the point and then you'd have to start running to start looking for cover or something. So yeah, this is a really, really cool change, and I think this is definitely the right direction they should go with D.Va. They improve her survivability by giving her the defense matrix, and they improve her ultimate. Like, you know, I've gone on rants with you all the time. I thought her ultimate was terrible. So I thought
her ultimate was fine, but I think the thing that pissed me off the most was the fact that she could kill herself with it, and the fact that that's no longer a problem, I think, is fantastic. And and I'm perfectly fine with a decrease to the timer. So
she can build it a lot quicker now. It's going to be interesting to see how this affects D.Va, how she moves into, you know, if people, because like she was one of the in competitive play. I obviously don't have the numbers for casual, but in competitive she was the least picked tank. Period. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects that, because now she has a lot more survivability, which I think was probably her biggest issue, because her headshot hitbox was massive. So now she has a lot more survivability, and she's not getting headshotted all the time. So we'll see. The other thing, there are a couple of other changes. McCree got buffed. They reduced they increased the range. Sorry, because McCree's shots have fall off. At certain ranges, they don't do as much damage. They increase the amount of range that he does maximum damage. So that's really cool. Mercy got buffed for some reason that I don't understand.
She got buffed and she kind of got debuffed in some ways. Basically how it works is that her main buff is that instead of doing like 30% damage increase, it's now 50% damage increase. And from what I can tell, which is insane. But basically what they said is that the original plan was that they wanted Mercy to get her sole way of getting kills was boosting her teammates' damage and helping that way. And they were saying that what was happening is that they were finding that more and more Mercy players were just pulling out their pistol to get the kills. And as someone who has played a lot of Mercy, I have been on teams in which, god damn it, I just pull out my pistol and get the kills for them because my damage buff is not doing enough to help them. So I can totally get where they're coming from that. The other thing that they did is that they did increase her ultimate charge range by a good chunk, because I will admit Mercy's
I still don't think it's enough.
Sorry?
I still don't think 30% is enough. That thing feels too fast.
It feels really fast, but still, like it's gonna make a big deal. But to counterbalance that, you can actually move while doing your res, which I think is a big deal because
Yeah.
the thing is that you would fly in to save your team, you'd res everyone, but then you'd be stuck. So you were
Yeah.
just a target.
Yeah. So now Guardian Angel also instantly resets once you ult, so you can fly in, ult, and then fly back out. Overall, though, I think because here's the thing. Mercy has the highest pick rate of any character in the entire game, in casual or competitive. Like, she's the most picked character in the game, and there's a reason for that. First of all, she's the easiest support to use. She's the most straightforward support, but she's also extraordinarily strong.
Yep.
You know, so like for me, the main issue for me, and there's that watch again. I can't unhear it anymore. So like for me, I think the 30% increased charge to her ultimate is a step in the right direction. I still don't think it's enough. Her ultimate builds so fast for how strong it is. It builds way too fast. And Jeff Kaplan said that they are reducing the damage buff because it was stupid. Like this like here's the thing. In open beta, Mercy was like this. Her damage buff was 50%. And they had to reduce it because there was so much stupid stuff that people were finding. Widowmaker could one-shot body shots like 200 health heroes. You know, McCree could one-shot headshot characters from across the map. You know, it was insane. And then, you know, they increased it back to 50% in the same patch where they take away the fall-off damage of McCree's Peacemaker. That's just silly. You know, you're going to start getting randomly you just gonna like 200 health heroes are just gonna start randomly dying because you'll be walking around the corner and McCree will be spamming shots around headshot range in that corner and boom, you're dead. You know, it's so they're gonna turn it back down to 30%, which I think is fine. Like here's my thing: Mercy is really, 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 really strong. So like, let's see how she works with the 30% ultimate charge nerf and the buff to Zenyatta and Ana coming in.
I kind of wish though, like, cause I don't know, cause sometimes I feel like I do have that problem where it's like I'm doing the damage buff to someone, and I really don't feel like I'm helping them that much.
Yeah, but you see, that's more of an issue with having incompetent teammates than because like here's the thing with the damage buff, like Pharah's rockets do 180 damage per shot, per direct rocket shot, right? If you attached to a good Pharah, that is a lot of damage. Like 180 damage is what? Like a dead Tracer, a dead Zenyatta. Before the buff. Or a dead Zenyatta if they put him at 175. It's still a dead Zenyatta. You know, it puts like 80% of the cast at 20 health. You know? That's insane. You know, you put like a damage buff on a Reaper. You put a damage buff on a Roadhog. Like it does help, but of course it relies on having competent teammates. You put a damage buff on a Pharah who's missing all her shots, or a Widowmaker who can't hit shit. Then all of a sudden, you know, you're sitting there, you don't feel like you're actually doing anything, which makes sense. But then I said like increasing it is not going to help, right? It's just going to frustrate. I think in the long run. I think, you know, the issue there is more of just having idiots on your team than anything else, which is something that Blizzard just can't fix, unfortunately.
It doesn't matter how much you patch the game, bad teammates will always be the same.
So yeah, man, like, whew, that was a lot.
That was a lot. But we're not even done. We're not even done with the news yet. We've got our last topic though. So Pokemon Go, and it is connected to our question of the day, so we'll kind of connect it with that way. So Pokemon Go got released. And it's a pretty big deal.
It is a pretty big deal. I did not see this coming.
I didn't see it coming, but I can tell you some insane stories that have made me so happy for it. So my favorite has been, I haven't been able to play Pokemon Go myself, right? But I've seen what it's done to the community for people who have. So just as a cool, well, kind of an interesting note or fact, Pokemon Go is not actually available in Canada. But that does not stop people from signing up and say, oh yeah, we're from Australia. And then immediately getting access to Pokemon Go, which I find hilarious. And that is the workaround that everyone's been doing. So we have seen tons of people in Canada using Pokemon Go, even though they're not supposed to be able to. The other thing I find absolutely hilarious is the way Pokemon Go works, I suppose, is that it's got its GPS system, and I guess when they were designing it, they looked for local landmarks and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
So I live relatively near a park, right?
Okay.
And there is this one little like plaque that's near a tree, and it's like this tree was planted in such and such year or whatnot, to commemorate someone, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that Pokemon Go knows where this tree is, and there is an item at that tree,
Oh my god.
and it is hilarious to see tons of people showing up with their phones to stare at this tree, not take pictures of the tree, but to get the item. And my favorite one was seeing a guy drive down in his car, get out of his car, walk over to the tree, and get back in his car, and then drive away. And I'm like, this is a great time to be alive.
This is a great time to be alive. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out when it comes to Canada legally.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure this might not be healthy for me. You probably don't know this because I don't play it that much anymore. But I was huge into Pokemon when I was younger, as most kids. My auntie had to hide my Game Boy because that was all I ever did. I'd come back from school, and I just go to my room and play Pokemon. So like to have a free-to-play version that I can have on my phone at all times. I don't know. I don't know if that's that. I think in the long run that might be very dangerous. So like I might have to just deny myself.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Yeah, there's a cemetery close to my house, and apparently there's a Pokemon gym in that cemetery. So
Ghost Gym.
Yeah. So my. Oh my god.
Well, this is what I mean. Like, it's hilarious. I live where there was a lot of, like, dirt hills and whatnot. So the gym that's near my place is literally a rock gym.
Oh.
So I'm like, yes, that is the best.
Yeah, but then our question of the day is Pokemon Go dangerous? No. I think people are dangerous.
I would say Pokemon Go is not dangerous. It's more that people need to be, they need to be aware. They need to be like, okay, look, if you're playing Pokemon Go and you notice that there's an Articuno behind a freaking construction site, don't go into the construction site, all right? Like, just don't do that. And that has apparently become a problem, is that Pokemon Go obviously can't, adapt to construction, because construction is always changing, and there's always going to be areas that you're not supposed to be in that that you could be in or whatnot. And the problem is that people are like, no, fuck the police, and they're going in and trying to get Pokemon. And I think that's the biggest danger, is that people are doing stuff like that, and then occasionally you get the really stupid shit. But overall, I think it's actually it's good, because one thing it's doing is that it's promoting people to kind of explore their local areas and probably notice. Like, I read an article in the newspaper recently, and I thought, wow, this is our generation in a nutshell, in which somebody said, I've actually never been to the Parliament building before, but there was an Abra there, so I decided to go. That kind of stuff. And I know that sounds really dumb, but in some ways that's kind of good, because it's kind of like promoting people to discover, in a way.
Yeah.
Which I think is good in itself.
Yeah, I can't wait till you get your hands on this. I want to hear some stories.
There will probably be many stories. I think it was more funny to be walking. I would be walking around where I live, and just occasionally, every once in a while, dude, man, there's a fucking Dragonite downtown, and I can't fucking find it. It's like, god damn. Like, just hearing these conversations is just so satisfying to me.
Yeah, one thing of note is a little more serious is a kid did get stabbed and robbed in Chicago because he went into the wrong neighborhood looking for Pokemon. So yeah, be careful, people.
That's really all we can say, is that enjoy the game, but just use common sense.
Just use common sense, and I know it's not as common as we'd all like it to be, but don't be a goddamn idiot. Like Tanner said, if there's an Articuno in a construction site, don't go into the construction site. It's just not worth it. Oh, you know what? Do go into the construction site, unless your natural selection work at its finest. Yeah, either way, the smart ones win. So yeah, shout outs to Pokemon Go, shout outs to Nintendo. Their stock went up 10%.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm pretty okay with this, because it means that, oh wow, Nintendo's actually, this is a pretty good success for Nintendo. Mm-hmm. And that's always good.
Yeah, the talks for a live action Pokemon movie have sparked back up when people saw just how much people still care about Pokemon. Yeah. And my Facebook timeline has just been Pokemon and Black Lives Matter. So yeah, it's It's been an interesting week.
That's a really interesting timeline.
No, I kid you not. Like I see one post talking about how this police brutality is bullshit and all that. So when I scroll to the bottom, it's like, oh my god, I found a guy. I found a guy.
That's a bit of a whiplash in topics, but okay.
But yeah. So yeah, man. Thanks for the questions again, Jay.
Yeah, very good questions. And if you've got a question, don't forget to leave it in the comment section, and we'll make sure to answer it in the next podcast. And as always, this was your host, William Liberty, and
as Muhammad Yusuf.
See you guys next time.